What's up guys, my name is Gabriel and I'm super excited to show you the latest addition to my airsoft arsenal, which is the EMG Sharp Bros Jack. So let's check it out. So the story behind this rifle is actually kind of interesting. So one day I was checking the local airsoft group chats and I stumbled across somebody that was raffling a rifle. So the person responsible for the raffle is called Fishy, and Fishy is a local seller here in Puerto Rico, and I feel like almost everybody has heard of him at least once. He's got a ton of cool stuff, so if you're from Puerto Rico and you're looking for some different parts to get, he's probably your guy. But the thing is that I saw that he posted this rifle in the chat saying that he was doing a raffle for $10 a ticket with 35 entries. So I decided, why not? And one night I just got a text being like,
"Oh my god, did you just win the raffle?"
And I was like, what? And then Fishy was like, hey, can I call you over the phone? And I'm like, yeah, of course you can. The very next day I went over to pick it up and I was super excited, and I still am. This is the EMG Sharp Bros Jack. This is the polymer version. There's a more expensive version which is made out of aluminum, I think, the entire body. But to my understanding, the internals are exactly the same. Alright, so I'm going to go through what I got in the box, the rifle's externals, the internals, and finally how the rifle shoots. So in the box I received one magazine, but it's actually a mid cap instead of a high cap like most are, which is kind of cool. I rather mid caps and high caps. Aside from that, it brought the extra tip, which is the one that I have right here, and it brought your standard unjamming rod and like the stick type speed loaders for some reason nobody uses, and the rifle. That's basically it. So taking first looks at the rifle, you can see that the design is super sleek. I absolutely love how it looks. The M-LOK rail looks super nice and smooth. It is a very thin build, so it feels very easy to control. It's pretty short compared to my Lancer, which makes it really good at maneuvering. This polymer is a little bit thin, which is pretty good considering the fact that it's super light. Still feels really sturdy, but it is really light. So if we move into the lower receiver, that is basically the star of this rifle, and that is the super cool molded skull. And not only is it a molded skull, it's actually a flared mag weld, which is super useful when you're trying to get those quick reloads in mid-game. So this grip is one of their thicker ergonomic grips. It is a smooth grip, but I don't feel like it's gonna be slipping out of my hand anytime soon. So I'm gonna talk about the flip-up sights and actually explain on why I decided to take them off. And it's because these flip-up sights are pretty much the worst flip-up sights I've seen on any rifle. And so far, everything I've said about this rifle is pretty positive, but these flip-up sights are horrible. It's like cheap, thin, like bendy plastic. They're non-adjustable. I don't know why they went so low with these sights when they made such an amazing build out of the rifle, but it is a situation. So if you're planning on getting this rifle, I would not bench on these sights. I would try and get an aftermarket sight. I do put some backup flip-up sights, but I use the Lancer tactical ones that I have on my other rifle. So moving on to the back, this is a super slim like buffer tube stock. This rifle actually comes wired in Deans, which is a lot better than Tamiya. It's super nice that it already comes with it. So something to keep in mind is that this rifle does not come with a battery or a charger, so you're going to have to make space in your budget for those. In my case, I went with a Titan Power battery and charger, which I may or may not be making a video on eventually. Leave it down in the comments below if you want to see that. So over the top, it has the standard monolithic rail, so you can attach any of the scopes or sights that you have. So on the trigger, we have an enlarged trigger guard, and we have a flat match style trigger, which is super comfortable to use, and honestly, it just feels great. So getting over to the internals, which is where this rifle actually shines, it has an Ares Amoeba version 2 gearbox inside. Now this gearbox is programmable with a little programming unit that you can buy separately, and it lets you program your rifle in an array of different combinations between safe, semi, 3-round burst, and full auto. And one of the coolest parts about it, which is what has me the most excited, is that the gearbox is also reinforced. And since it's reinforced, that means that it can probably take some pretty decent upgrades out of the box. Additionally, this rifle comes built in with a MOSFET that protects your internals from being fried by stronger batteries. Another really cool thing about this rifle is that the trigger system is a micro switch trigger, which means that the trigger is activated by a tiny button, which makes the trigger response super crisp. You can also kind of hear it. it feels super nice because you know exactly when that shot is gonna fire off and exactly how far you need to go to reset it. The inner barrel on this is a 6.03 tight bore barrel with a crowning edge on the end. And the only part of the internals where I feel a little bit iffy is the hop-up unit itself. Now the hop-up chamber looks like really cheap plastic, so it is something that I'm looking to replace. But aside from that, all of the internals on this rifle are absolutely golden. As you guys can see, I am super excited about this rifle. It looks great and it feels even better. So I'm just gonna take it outside and show you guys exactly what it can dish out. All right, so I'm over here at the testing ground once again. But since I know this rifle is at a higher level than the rest that I've been testing, I'm going to make things a little bit more difficult on myself. So this is a metal shooting target that I've been using ever since I only had like a couple of pellet guns. So basically each of these targets are like, I don't know, 2.5 to 3 inches wide, and the center one, which is super small, it's about the size of a $50, just like an inch and a half. I'm gonna be shooting that target from all the way over there. If I had to guess, I'd say this is around 40-ish feet, but the fact that they're so small makes them super difficult to hit. So what I'm gonna do is try and hunker myself down and anchor my position as well as I can. And what we're seeing is the actual precision of the rifle and not like my movement. Alright, so I'm going to be using my red dot sight paired up with this rifle to try and get as pinpoint as I possibly can. And I'm gonna be talking as I go, kind of explaining like how I see the shots, if I miss, if it was close or not. That was a really loud plane. Goggles on. So I'm gonna start by the bigger targets first and see how well it goes. Hit, miss. Right, so I hit most of those, but I did miss quite a few. I missed it by very close slivers, but it's because I was swaying back and forth. So let me just try and get into a better position and see if that helps. So as soon as I just hunkered down and got a little bit more stable, almost all of the shots hit. I'm pretty sure that I only missed 1 or 2. If it can hit this consistently at this distance, you're not gonna have any problems whatsoever hitting anything bigger at any longer distance. I'm gonna do the very small target in the center. Like I said, it's like 1.5 inches. This is insane. Even the small target I was able to hit consistently. I think I missed like 3 times and I could see the BB hitting right behind it. The target is like over there-ish and it's about yay big. Just for kicks, I'm gonna try and move the target even farther back, maybe another extra 10-20 feet or something. I'm gonna try and hit the 3-inch target again and see how well that goes, because this is just crazy to me. Right, so now I'm pretty sure you can't even see it on camera, but I moved the target right next to right here. So now this is definitely around 60+ feet. At this point, my red dot covers the whole target and I can barely see it because of how well camouflaged it is. Gotta hunker down even more. Like this I need to be bone set in order to hit this. The leaf patterns and stuff, it's just not easy to see, but I'm gonna keep trying and I'm gonna see if maybe I can like locate it a little bit better. That time I actually hit a lot of the shots, so I'm just gonna try that one more time and make sure that it wasn't a fluke. Wow, my eyes are starting to hurt. I can show you exactly how that looked. I'm just gonna put that here and I'm gonna show you how it looked. Just that's what it looked like. When you're staring so intensely at such a set pattern, it kind of messes with your eyes, but I was able to hit consistently. I took a little bit longer because I was trying to make sure that I paced it, but I did hit very consistently. and honestly, I am impressed. I'm gonna shoot a couple quick shots in semi and give you some full auto bursts, just so you guys can hear it and just see it in action. Actually, let's test out the mid cap that came with it. I'll just load this one up instead, and again, just try and see if it can keep up with the rate of fire. Not completely full, but it's pretty dang full. Back to the dumping. Notice that the like when you're in semi, the micro switch trigger kind of like hiccups a couple times. Maybe it's just that I'm not used to the trigger yet, since I'm used to like the standard trigger where you have to like pull back the whole way and then it engages at the end. This one engages somewhere in the middle, so I feel like maybe I'm kind of just missing the sweet spot. But it does feel super crisp. Like the shot feels amazing. I only notice that like when you're trying to go super fast, sometimes it kind of just skips a shot and it feels a little weird, but it does have pretty good speed. All right guys, so I'm gonna give you my final thoughts, but if you've seen this far, I feel like you know what it's gonna be. I absolutely adore this rifle. I can barely believe that I won it in a raffle for $10. It feels great, it looks great, it shoots fantastic. The precision is out of this world. And again, this rifle is stock, like bone stock. And honestly, I feel like it is worth the money. Like, it's crazy. This opens up a lot of possibilities, plus it lets me have a backup rifle as well. So I'm just super happy with it. It was a great experience. That being said, that is all for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I would really appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, and share the video so that we can keep growing our community. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day and stay sharp.